Hello and welcome to Dazzle Koi. Today I'm talking what are in my opinion the 15 biggest mistakes koi keepers can make. So I've got the first 10 are going to be in no particular order. I've kind of lumped them all together, and then when I get down to the last five are in my opinion the 5 biggest, and we'll go down from 5 to 1, with 1 being the most serious and most frequently made mistake I believe people make when keeping koi. So stick around, it's all coming up. Okay, as I say, in no particular order, the first mistake I'm going to talk about is insufficient water movement and circulation. So often overlook this, but really is very important for a number of reasons. You need to make sure you have no areas of still or stagnant water. Basically, the movement of water keeps the waste circulating and moving, and ultimately enables it to find its way into your pump or bottom drain and ultimately to your filter. If you don't have sufficient circulation or you have dead spots, you will collect waste there. You'll harbour bacteria in that waste. You'll generate issues. Secondly, your koi themselves need the water movement. They need to be kept active. They need effectively exercise, the same as humans. You want them exercising, using energy, burning fat to build healthy appetites, and important as well for body shape, so they don't become overweight, and keep them on top health. So the first one, poor circulation and water movement. On to number 2 then, believing the filter manufacturers' claims for how big a pond their filters will handle. Yeah, a bit of a touchy subject, but pretty much all filter manufacturers tend to over-egg the capabilities of their filters. So just be aware and take what they say with a pinch of salt. The best way around this is to speak to people who've owned those filters, ran those filters, you know, got experience of them themselves. Speak to those people, find out how they went on, what they liked, what they didn't like, what kind of fish loads they could handle, etc. The worst ones, and I don't like to single them out, but well, I'm going to, black box filters. The claims made by some of the manufacturers of black box filters are, quite frankly, just take it all with a pinch of salt. Do your research and avoid falling for the specs, shall we say. So that's the second mistake I'm going to talk about today, believing filter manufacturers' specifications. Mistake number 3, buying from unknown or non-reputable suppliers. And this one refers specifically to koi rather than dry goods and things. Do your research. Go down. I'm not a fan of mail order and buying over the internet. I appreciate sometimes you've got to do it, but still you can do your homework. Again, try and speak to people who've bought from those places before. Find out what the experience was like. Try and get photos, videos, do a video call if you can, see the fish that way. Do as much research as you can on the people you're going to buy from. If you can, stick to one dealer. I have a dealer who I know and trust. I've known him for 26 years. I won't buy koi from anyone else. That is the best, the safest way if you can do that. If not, as I said, do your homework. Don't just buy blindly over the internet or without seeing fish in some way. If you're buying from a dealer who you're not familiar with, please try to quarantine your koi before they go in your pond. It's very easy to wipe out a whole pond of koi by bringing in one rogue koi. So yeah, so number 3 is buying from unknown or non-reputable dealers. Number 4, adding salt to your pond all year round. I have a video on salt. Do please check it out. I'm not going to go into all the details now, but suffice to say, there's no benefit to healthy koi from having salt in their environment. It is alien to them. Check out that video if you want to know more. But yeah, at number 4, I've got adding salt to your koi pond all year round. Number 5, possibly controversial, but this is my opinion, not installing a bottom drain. So if you're building a pond specifically for koi, a proper dedicated koi pond, you want to grow nice koi, you, in my opinion, need a bottom drain. I appreciate people don't put bottom drains in and get away with it, but in my opinion it is close to vital. If you can at all put a bottom drain in, if you're going to have koi, then please do it. You will get potential for bacteria issues. You've got the problem of waste collecting on the bottom of the pond, not being sent to your filter quickly. Lots of problems. As I say, people get away with it, but the same people will say, oh, came home and one of my fish is dead, or came home and I've got this fish is all red and it's not well, or and they don't always put 2 and 2 together and relate that to the lack of bottom drain and the waste and silt sat on the bottom of the pond holding bacteria. But yeah, it happens. If you can at all and you're building a koi pond from scratch, please do try and put a bottom drain in. So yeah, my number 5 mistake is not installing a bottom drain on a koi pond. Number 6, following on from that, is fitting the wrong size bottom drain. So I see so many times people will ask the question on Facebook groups, forums, etc. What size bottom drain do I need? And without fail, every time it's asked, several people will jump on saying, fit the biggest you can. This is wrong. Again, I do have a video on sizing your bottom drain. The biggest is not always the best. And again, you fit a bottom drain that is too big for the flow that you're pulling, and you will again create areas in that bottom drain pipe where settlement waste will settle out under your pond. You can't see it, you can't get at it. It will harbour bacteria, it will bite you on the bum at some point, and you won't always realise that that is the source of the bacteria problems. A lot of people say, oh, it's just one of them things, it just happens. It doesn't just happen. There's a reason for it. And fitting the wrong size bottom drain is one of those reasons. So yeah, number 6, fitting the wrong size bottom drain. Number 7, insufficient oxygen in your pond. You cannot have too much oxygen in practice. In theory, you can. You will never create those circumstances, those conditions in your koi pond. Get some air in. The biggest bugbear I have with koi keeping is people are love of testing water. They test nitrite, they test ammonia, they test everything, chlorine, GH, pH. The most important one, arguably, of the lot is oxygen, and very few people test oxygen. It is a simple dropper test. JBL do one, others do them. O2 test, exactly the same as any other dropper. Take a water sample, drop some drops in, compare the colour and work, and it'll tell you how much oxygen you've got dissolved in your water. It's very, very easy to do, and yet most koi keepers don't realise that you can test oxygen so easily. So please, yeah, get yourself an oxygen test kit, get some air in there, keep on top of it. As well as providing oxygen, the air going into your pond is vital. Again, going back to the very first one, water circulation and water movement, air helps with that. It's a great way of getting some movement in the water. Disrupts the surface so predators can't see your koi so easily. Lots and lots of positive benefits for everything that's living in your pond system. So yeah, do get as much air in there as you can. So number 7 is insufficient air in the koi pond. Mistake number 8 is not having spares and backups that you will at some point need on hand, ready to go. There's no point your water pump packing in, your air pump packing in, finding a sick koi. If it's Friday night, everything's just closed, won't be able to get access, you're working or whatever, you're going on holiday. There's nothing worse than finding a problem and not having a spare. So yeah, I've got a video again on 10 essential items. I think it's 10. Air pump, get yourself a spare air pump. Find a friend or two, chip in, buy one between you. You know, people who are local to you, as long as one of them's got one, nipping to someone's house 2 minutes down the road to get a pump when yours fails is better than waiting 3 days and all your fish dying. A water pump if you can, or rather than, it seems cool these days, people believe that if they put a 20,000 litre variable pump on and then run it at 20%, that's somehow more efficient than buying a 10,000 and running it at 40%. Having 2 10s gives you that excuse me, that backup. So if one fails, you've still got water movement, you've still got flow through your filter. Something to think about. If not, get yourself a spare. Meds, there's a lot of common meds that won't go off for a long time, PP, etc, etc. Get yourself some spare meds. Get yourself a little backup spare kit. It might be that you're on holiday and your neighbour's looking after the pond, they phone you up, such and such a thing's happened. They're not going to be able to go and find an air pump and buy it and come and replace it. But if you say to them there's one in the shed, swap it light for light, you know, you've got a chance. So yeah, get yourself some spares. That's my number 8, not having the spares on hand that you will at some point need. Number 9, incorrect flow through your filter, incorrect flow rate. So off-the-shelf koi pond filters such as Beads, Nexus, Pods, drums to some extent, Saves, even multi-bays, whatever it is, if it's a bespoke off-the-shelf filter designed for a koi pond, it will have an optimum flow. That optimum flow is a balance. Too fast has negative connotations, too slow has negative connotations. There's a sweet spot in the middle that is optimum. Find out from your manufacturer what that optimum flow is. They don't even always know, to be honest with you, some of them. So speak to, again, people who've used the filters, people who have experience of them. Find out the optimum flow. Set your pump flow to that optimum flow, taking into account your head loss, etc. And that's it. You don't need to do anything else. Speeding it up will make it worse. Slowing it down will make it worse. So yeah, number 9 is not having the correct flow rate for your filter. Number 10, believe in everything you hear on YouTube. Just kidding. Or am I? Joking aside, YouTube, I don't think it's too bad. But Facebook groups, the internet, forums, I'll be honest with you, Facebook in particular, there is some shocking advice given out on there. It really frightens me at times. There is no easy answer to this. You trust that the advice you're given is correct, but all I would say is get some second opinions and a third opinion and a fourth opinion. As I said, if you can, speak to people with experience of your particular question, situation, whatever it may be. Speak to a reputable koi dealer, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever it takes, opinions. Don't believe everything you hear. Another biggie is the internet. I'll make a comment and somebody will say to me, well, that's wrong because this article says so. If it's posted on the internet, it doesn't make it true. Anyone can go and write some rubbish, post it on the internet. It's not regulated, it's not checked, just because it's on there doesn't make it any truer than anything else. So yeah, number 10, believe in everything you see, hear, read. Okay, so that brings me to my top 5. Now these are ranked from 5 down to 1. So these are, the others that have gone are all important. These are no more or less important essentially, but I've ranked them anyway. And at number 5, I've got feeding a poor quality food. Again, people buy some awful koi food. If you look at the instructions, they might as well throw cardboard in. There's very little to no nutritional value. There is no benefit to this, and there are a lot of negatives. Yes, you'll save a few quid, but again, people with bacterial infections, people constantly getting parasitic infections, outbreaks, they don't always tie the two together. But if you feed your koi crap food, then your koi, it's like feeding your children or yourself beans every day. You're not getting the nutrition, your immune system is low, you're run down, your appetite is low, your health generally will suffer, you're weak, and this all applies to your fish. Feed them these rubbish sticks and flakes and things with little nutritional value, they will be low. They will, their immune systems will be low. They're vulnerable to parasites. They're vulnerable to bacteria. So, as well as the obvious things that this food is just polluting your water, impacting their appetites, it's making your filters work harder. It is discolouring the water, spoiling your view of your koi. Many other things, as your koi are not growing as they should. As well as those things, the things you can't see are the more important, like, as I say, weakened immune systems, general poor health makes your koi vulnerable. So number 5 on my top 5 is feeding poor quality food. Number 4, maybe a bit controversial again, but I strongly believe this. Number 4 is not buying a microscope before you buy your very first koi. So many people do this, myself included. I did it with my first koi. I strongly believe if you're going to buy koi, the very first thing you need to do is buy a microscope and learn how to use it. At some point in your time with your koi, you will need to do that. If you can't do it, if you haven't got a microscope, you've got to buy one, you've got to borrow one, then you've got to learn how to use it. You will lose koi while you're doing that. Get a microscope before you buy that very first koi. Learn how to use it and be ready and expect that you will need to use it. So yeah, number 5 is not buying a microscope before you buy your first koi. Okay, on to number 3, getting serious now. Mistake number 3 is not observing your koi every single day. Every single day. Again, I've got videos on this. I know I sound like a broken record, but I've got videos on koi health where I stress how important it is to look at your fish every single day. Watch them. You can't spot behavior that is not normal if you don't know exactly what is normal, and the only way you will find out how your koi behave when they're healthy is by observing them, and that's the only way you'll then spot when something is slightly different, and you can pick up the fact that something is wrong, diagnose it, treat it before it becomes a terminal problem. So many, I won't stress them all, I won't go through it here, other than to say I do, as I say, there is a video there if you want to hear more about my thoughts on observing your fish. But mistake number 3 is not observing your fish every single day. Mistake number 2 is not cleaning your filters often enough. And again, I know, getting boring. Video up there about how often you should be cleaning your filters and why. Lots of detail in there. So many people don't clean their filters enough. You cannot clean your filter too often. So mistake number 2 is not cleaning your filters often enough. And the number 1 biggest mistake I see koi keepers make, I don't think this will come as a surprise to many, but the number 1 mistake is overstocking. Again, so much written on so many different opinions. The fact is, to use extremes, if you had 1 koi in a 10,000 gallon pond, that koi would be incredibly healthy. It'd have an incredible immune system. It would grow. It would be the happiest koi, might be a bit lonely, but the happiest koi on the planet. If you had 1,000 fish in that 10,000 gallon pond, there would be the pollution, the water pollution would have your koi down, their immune systems would be down, they'd be riddled with parasites, they'd be riddled with disease, they would die off at an alarming rate. Somewhere in between, you need to find a sensible place to be. Again, got a video on stocking densities. Very few people, and I include myself in this, I'm not gonna lie, at the moment I have 7. I should have 6. It just happens. far too easily. I am getting rid of one once the weather is a little warmer. 200 to 250 gallons per koi, irrespective of the size of the fish. A tiny koi and a large koi both need the same volume for different reasons, but they both need the same volume. Go beyond that, you will have more than your share of parasites, bacteria problems, water quality problems, etc, etc. The chances of those will increase, the instances of those will increase the more densely you stock. So my number one koi keeping mistake is overstocking. Hopefully, as always, that has been useful to you. If that's the first of my videos you've seen, please do check out more videos on my channel. If you liked the video, if it was useful to you, please do give me a thumbs up. Like the video, do leave a comment, good, bad, indifferent. If you think there's anything I've missed, if you think there's anything, maybe the order isn't quite right, anything you disagree with, agree with, whatever it may be, do leave me a comment and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.